Giant Orange Records.
Well, here are my top 2024 new releases. The Losing Streaks, Last House. I'm so glad I got to see this band and hang out with them for a while in Athens at the end of September. It was truly one of the highlights of my year, as they're one of the best garage punk bands around. Their energy on stage is insane, and a lot of that is captured here on their third album, Last House. This album shows a lot of growth for the band, gets a little psychedelic at times, but they still keep most of it in the garage punk realm of, say, the Sonics. There's also a ton of blistering lead guitar, killer bass lines, and out-of-this-world drumming. But ultimately, it's the songs that makes this record memorable and one that I will be spinning for years to come. Next we have Messerschupps, Dark Side of Paradise. I saw this Russian surf band with a vaguely German name back in January in Immokalee. I even met Zombriella briefly after the show. She didn't seem to speak any English, but my friend Patty was able to capture a picture of us. At the show, I think they played most of the songs on this album, which didn't get released until May or something. It's seriously one of the best surf albums I've ever heard, and I would highly recommend it. La Luz, News of the Universe. This wonderful band is back. There's a slightly different lineup this time. Each one of their records takes the band in a fairly new direction, where the music reaches new heights and plateaus. This time they take it all the way to the far side of the universe. In a way, it's a return to form to their surf rock roots with a bit of the experimentation of their previous album, which I always thought was like their Abbey Road. This is easily one of my favorite albums of the year. Next we have Parlor Greens, In Green We Dream. This is one groovy bunch of instrumental soul jams. If you like Booker T and the MGs, or the overall Stax sound, you would really like this album. It was on the turntable for several weeks after I picked up this limited edition color variant made especially for the Rust and Wax record store in West Palm Beach. The Surfragettes, Easy as Pie. Here's another landlocked surf band. This one's from Toronto. I saw the Surfragettes in West Palm Beach earlier this year, and they were super nice. They signed a bunch of merch I got from them at the merch table, and this is a band that I had to see live to really understand their complexity. I love how the guitarists Shermie and Nicole swap between rhythm and lead guitar seamlessly several times within the span of one song. Sometimes there are dual leads in the same song, which is also really cool. It's a super clean, reverb-soaked early 60s sounding surf recording. I like to close my eyes and imagine them on stage playing these songs. Their rhythm section is also quite incredible. Shannon and the Clams, The Moon is in the Wrong Place. This album knocks it out of the park. I think it's their most consistent album, start to finish, and there are some really impressive moments on here. It's definitely got that garage soul and psych thing down to a groove. It's an album that came out under the tragic circumstances of the untimely death of Shannon's fiancé, who passed away in a car accident shortly before their wedding date. This knowledge changes the context of the songs, and knowing this can make it a little hard to listen to at times, but it is a very enjoyable album. It's an ambitious and emotionally searing album, and they get really creative on this one. The Archaics, See the World on Fire. They're truly one of my favorite bands of all time. When I saw this band, I knew I had to get back into playing music, writing my own songs, and starting another band. This was after I thought I'd given up on all of that. This album is their first one in 6 years, and it's quite a departure from their short 2 to 3 minute garage punk songs. These songs are all quite a bit longer. This is more like a garage band's version of Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. It's so good to have new music from the Archaics, and this is the orange variant. Jack White, No Name. This solo record is about as close to the White Stripes as Jack White has come since that band disbanded. It seems like he was trying to distance himself from the White Stripes on all of his solo records and branch out a little bit more. But this is a return to form of a pure guitar record, and what a wonderful surprise this was. The way it was released with no big announcement was pretty innovative. It's just a bunch of good guitar rock songs that are loud and unapologetic. I think this band is called Oop Oopayama. The album is called Mount Elephant. This one hails from Italy, and it's psychedelic folk rock with sitars and a big sound. It sounds so big it could echo through the Himalayas or the Alps. Could have been made after the Beatles went to India. This is pastoral and meditative music, and it is as relaxing as it is enjoyable. And we have J.D. McPherson's Night Owls. This, I think, is his best and most consistent album yet. It came out late this year, so I'm still wrapping my head around it. It's rootsy rockabilly with a bit of soul and a bit of surf. There are definitely some really good rockers here. I saw him and met him in January in Immokalee, where he put on a great show. And next I'm going to go over some albums and releases that I didn't get a physical copy of, but I still really enjoyed streaming these. Winter McQueen and Acacia Pip. Recently I've been missing the color green. This is a cassette-only release, and this is some bouncy acoustic driving pop rock that is fun and introspective at the same time. It has some deep, groovy bass lines. At first it reminded me of the warmth of the Kinks' Village Green, but obviously they do their own thing here on this wonderful EP from Down Under. I really like this one. It's funny, it's clever, and it's cheeky, but it's very smart all at once. I adore the Australian accents. Green is also my favorite color. Fleur, Feel Sauvage. This is a great fuzz, teen beat, and psych pop album from the Yee Yee singer Fleur. She is from the Netherlands, but this album is sung in French, and the title translates to Wild Daughter, and that she is. It's probably her best album yet, though all of them are good. It's very garage rock with all the elements that I love about this wonderful genre. There's fuzz, echo, a good beat, and raw guitars. This is one of my favorite albums of the year, and I really want to find this on vinyl, but overseas shipping costs are prohibitively expensive right now. Alvilde, C'est déjà le jour. I think that's how that's pronounced. This is some great French all-female power pop. The album title translates to It's Already Time. This is a really fun record full of hooks. The guitars are clean and punchy, and we get some really nice 12-string jangle on a few songs. This album is also prohibitively expensive with overseas shipping right now, but I hope to find this gem on vinyl someday. Beechwood Sparks, Across the River of Stars. One of my favorite bands ever is back. They capture the sound of folky California psych pop and country rock, cosmic country, indie country. You know, they do that based on their heroes, the Byrds and the Buffalo Springfield, but they add organ and lap steel for some extra punch. This one comes after a 12-year hiatus. Each one of their albums gets a little bit mellower, and that's fine too. If I had seen this at a record store, I would have grabbed it, but I haven't seen it in person as of yet. Dr. Dog put out a self-titled album this year, and I've been a Dr. Dog fan for a really long time. They are one of the most consistently solid bands live and in the studio. They put out quality pop rock songs with a bit of psychedelic and folk and some experimental elements. Their melodies and insightful lyrics are their strong points, as well as the consistent playing of the band. They have so many albums now, they've been kind of hard to keep up with, but I'm always happy to be listening to Dr. Dog. Samantha Crane, Riding Out the Storm. This single showcases her gorgeous and sultry voice. Since we had some pretty bad storms and tornadoes in Florida this fall, this track really resonates. The B-side of this digital single is called Dragonfly. and it is a true gem, and it's a bit more of a rocker. I've always liked Dragonflies. Miss Crane has Native American roots from Oklahoma. Her music transports me to another place, somewhere in the vast scenery of the Midwest. And gosh, that voice of hers is magical. Oh, here's a fun one. The Electric Splash, Early Days. And last, but certainly not least, my own band, The Electric Splash, put out a digital-only, for now, mini album at the end of November. It's garage rock and endless psychedelic surf that is full of harmonies and 60s influences. You can buy a high-quality digital version on our Bandcamp page or stream it on your favorite streaming platform. We hope to put this out on vinyl soon, and I will make a Spotify list and link it down below featuring music from these releases. If there are any releases that I missed, please mention them in the comments below. I think 2024 will go down as one of the most incredible years for indie music.
Giant, orange, giant, orange, giant, orange.